What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Alarm Fantasy Football, which I guess is kind of a continuation off of Getting Buzzed, because I'm going from the frying pan into the fire here, as promised on yesterday's show. We will do this. We will treat this as an AMA. So get over there, smash that like and subscribe button on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, and check out everything that we've got going on over here, and get those questions in on the chat. We'll talk news and notes. We'll talk about some of the exciting stuff that's happening around football. But oh baby, like, how psyched are we right now? Right, Britt's got a big old Cheshire Cat smile. Coop, America, right there.
No, let me just tell y'all how ready I am. Do you guys have one of these? You guys have one of these? This is how ready I am for football.
Spider Wife.
All right, I got my plays ready. I'm stoked. I'm prepared. Like, let's go. It's football tonight, guys.
Fired up, baby. Honestly, after watching Getting Buzzed for the last hour, I kind of just want to let Howard do the whole show and we just hang out and watch, dude. Howard, you were a man on a mission. You were a beast for a full hour there. You just keep going, man. Just keep going and we'll hang out.
You got to do it, man. Listen, this is we all know this is a very important time. And if there's one thing that Fantasy Alarm has always prided itself on, is that you ask the question, you'll get the answer. All right. I spent years answering everything over on Twitter. Now we have, in the Fantasy Alarm Discord. And if you guys aren't a part of the Fantasy Alarm family, you're making a big mistake. I won't name call like Coop did in the chat over at Getting Buzz, calling people idiots. But I will say this: go to fantasyalarm.com/win. Sign up for the All Pro subscription. Take it for a 7-day free trial. Win some money with us playing DFS. Win some money in your survivor pool, or not your survivor pool, because that goes all year. But maybe you've got like a confidence pool that you're doing pick'ems for. We're doing prop talk. We got everything going on over there. There are articles all over the place. You can't miss them. So go to fantasyalarm.com/win. Sign up for the All Pro subscription. Take it for a free trial here for 7 days. Check it all out. And I guarantee you, it's going to end up winning you money. And we're going to win a shitload of championships. I'm not even shy about cursing.
I'm not scared to say it, Howard. They're idiots. Get in the Fantasy Alarm Discord with us. Hang out with us. We're going to answer every question no matter what. But that's how you win. That's how you win big money. I mean, one of our Fantasy Alarm members bought a boat last year with $1 million he won. I mean, does it get any better? Does it get any better?
I want winners.
I mean, for $1 million, I would say a yacht, but
yeah, well,
it's a pretty nice boat.
Inflation. Yeah, you don't
buy a boat and have a little something left over.
What are you gonna do with a yacht in Arkansas, Flynn?
Actually, there are a lot of really nice lakes. Actually,
okay, that's all.
I would stunt in a yacht on a lake.
Everybody out there in the pontoon boat in Arkansas fishing for catfish, and Britt just rolls up in a yacht. Like, what?
I would noodle catfish in a yacht. That's how much I would stunt on a yacht in Arkansas.
That's Treylon Burks.
I'm quite familiar with that phrase.
That's that Treylon Burks money, dude.
Treylon Burks money. Oh, Britt, how excited are you to watch Treylon Burks going up against the Saints tonight? You were chatting that up over at Getting Buzzed, or not tonight, but this weekend. Saints defense atrocious, absolutely atrocious.
No, I'm so stoked about it. And even if Marshawn Lattimore does play and Paulson Adebo covers Burks, I don't think that people realize like how bad Paulson Adebo is.
Right.
He's allowed like a 130.3 passer rating when targeted, 0.39 fantasy points per cover snap, 2.21 fantasy points per target. I mean, this guy is bad, and I cannot wait for Burks to stunt on him.
I'll tell you what, even if everyone's healthy, you're going to have Lattimore on Hopkins. You have Demario Davis and Honey Badger over the middle, and DeAndre Hopkins, and Treylon Burks is going to be in the money seat regardless. So, I mean, it might even be better for him if everybody's good to go. It just kind of funnels things his way. Hopefully the knee's good to go, but he's been practicing, right?
He's completely cleared. He's not even on the injury report. That Wolverine blood, that Arkansas stock, I'm telling y'all.
Noodling. All right. Well, as promised, we're going to, listen, if news breaks right now, because we haven't had anything that's really broken so to speak. We know that the Chiefs are trying to work out Travis Kelce before when they can determine whether or not he's going to play or not. So, if we get that news, then obviously we will chime in with that. Shout out to our illustrious producer here, Brian Burns, the man behind that intro. That was a baller intro. I absolutely love it. The crowd loves it too. Fatty McFats thinks it's a nice fancy ass opening. Jack Senzen hanging out in here. He said, wow. Rod Elliott is back in here. Hal says it's nice. Dude, look at that.
Yeah, I love and respect Brian Burns, and he's got to do what he's got to do.
That drop, dude.
These drops from Burns are
love and respect Brian Burns.
What does Frank Reich like to say there, Burns?
I have nothing but the highest regard for Brian Burns.
There you go. From Horse Meat Mouth.
I think that was from the week where Mac Jones is being a little baby and Brian Burns kind of had to put him in his place, right? Those are what those drops are from.
I love and respect Brian Burns.
Okay, that's enough.
All right, let's get to some Q&A here for the kids. Rod Elliott says Javonte, Jamawful, or Jameer needs 2. Who wants to go first, Britt or Coop?
Britt, go ahead and tell him to start Gibbs.
I mean, we're going to start Gibbs. Gibbs is going to be in there. And I'm kind of looking at Jamawful, to be honest, because, I know that the Titans' run defense has been pretty good, but he is literally the only person in this offense who is healthy right now. If they're going to do anything in this run game, it's going to go through him. Javonte, I'm a little bit worried about how they manage his week 1 workload. I think that they kind of ease him back in. I know that they say that he's good to go. If you look on any of the sites and their projections, they're projecting him higher than a bunch of other people, but I just don't see that happening if they're looking to maintain that knee.
Right. And I'll tell you what, the combo of Javonte Williams and Jamal Williams is actually looking like it's going to work out perfectly for you. If Javonte does come back and he's healthy, if Javonte comes back and plays this week, then you have 16 weeks to start, right? So if he looks great this week, you got to be pumped about that, even if you have him on the bench for 1 week. But just think about it. If Javonte gets eased back in right around the time Alvin Kamara gets back, boom, just swap the Williamses and you're good to go. So I'm with Britt. Start Gibbs and Jamal Williams this week. And again, you're still rooting for Javonte Williams. If he goes off and he's fully healthy, then that's great news. So easy play for you.
Yep. I can just verbally retweet that. Let's see. Oh, Skinny's got it. I like this. # Cooped in America. Very nice. Tommy says get in the game is saying football baby. And I talked about this on the previous show on Getting Buzz. I'll remind you guys right now. Go to bettercast.app, bettorcast.app. Download our Bettercast app for free, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to watch alongside the Bettercast, watch the game tonight, because we got a ton of questions, prop questions, over under questions, higher, lower, all that fun stuff there. And you can answer those questions. You win tickets, and you put those tickets towards winning a ton of prizes like signed memorabilia and things like that. So that starts tonight for Chiefs Lions. You definitely don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss it.
Dude, we did a little test through with that app, and that thing is so cool, man. I'm definitely going to be in there playing.
So fun.
Yeah.
I'm so competitive. I'm like, I want to beat all you guys.
Oh,
and so I'm just like clicking buttons.
That was funny, though, when we did the test run and we did a little trivia thing, how serious it was taken, even though it was like just supposed to be nothing.
Because we're all winners here. We all want to win here.
I was just pressing the fun button the entire time. I'm just having fun watching you idiots complain about, you didn't get your answers in time.
I couldn't believe that Alvin Kamara didn't have the #1 running back game of all time. That trivia question shocked me. It was Jamal Charles, right? That was the answer. I couldn't believe it. 6 touchdowns for whatever. Anyway, let's get back to this week.
Let's get back to it. All right, let's see. Oh, Skinny McKinney. Oh, he's saying, damn, Britt, talking about the playbook on your wrist. Jack sends in, what up, family? Following up from before. So if I'm starting Goff over Daniel Jones and I have Bijan as my RB1, should I start Laporta with Goff or Kyle Pitts?
I'm starting Kyle Pitts. That's where I draw the line, though I personally am starting Laporta in a lot of spots. I'm with Howard that I, no Noah Gray. I'm not going to get cute like that. And I'm even though I was drafting Kincaid over Laporta, I'm starting Laporta over Kincaid. We draft players for upside, and then you got to put that aside for week one and use your reasoning to make your lineups, right? We're using matchups, we're using over-unders, we're using all that. So Laporta in this situation is in a better spot than Kincaid for the short term. But we don't go that far as to start him over Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is, to me, he's locked in. And if it's true that his role is just an inline tight end and Arthur Smith really wants to use him like Jason Witten, then, next week we make adjustments. But for now, it's still got to be Kyle Pitts.
See, I'm a little bit wary of that. The Panthers' defense against the tight end was pretty good. They only allowed 8.4 points per game to the tight end position. And now that JC Horn is coming back and is going to kind of, consolidate Drake London and cover him, honestly, I think that this play this week, and I'm not saying the rest of the season, but the play this week might be Laporta, because that Panthers defense is pretty tough.
If you want to, the way I look at it is if we were talking about like David Njoku going against the Bengals, or even David Njoku in this exact situation, and it's somebody that we know that isn't a rookie tight end, then I would go there. And I'm the one that's willing to go there with the rookie tight ends. If you want a piece of Laporta, what I would do is go over to Underdog and go to there where they set the sats and just bet and just pick higher on his line. It's set at like 29 yards.
29 and a half yards, actually.
29 and a half. It's just like, I can't look at that. I mean, I'll take that. I kind of like Laporta this week, but like, I just can't start him over Kyle Pitts. If we were farther, and I probably have Laporta in my week one rankings higher than most of the industry, I'm just not going to put him at like tight end 6 or 7 where I would put a Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with Coop here on the Kyle Pitts situation. It's also we're looking at some very different things that we've got here. Like, I look to the Atlanta offense of what we saw at the tail end of last year when they were running hard with Tyler Algier. Now that you've got somebody like Bijan Robinson there, I think that Carolina is definitely going to have to respect the ground game a lot more. And I think the linebackers are probably going to have to, they're going to need to pinch in a little bit more and help out with that with the defensive line to stuff the run. And I think that what is going to end up happening is you will see linebackers bite on play fakes on play action, and that could free up Kyle Pitts. Much like it could free up Sam Laporta, I think, in tonight's game. But I still I'm going to take Kyle Pitts here as well. 2 against 1, Britt. What are you going to do about that? What play do you have to go to now? But I want to know what play Britt needs to go to right now.
Don't fake bully.
This 2-on-1 special.
Fake spike.
Guess what? I have extras.
Shit, that's like a legit one, huh? That's not some like fake one. That's nice.
No,
dude.
we actually made it for a festival in case our phones died and or didn't get service. We wanted to keep the schedules in it. So we just wore it like around our wrist for festivals.
Wow.
But
Now
it does
so
double
savvy.
for football.
That's so savvy. I like that. All
Party
right. Albert Morocquin just says hello, everyone. Hello, Albert. Thanks for shopping.
Albert, what up, dude? Albert's a man.
Rod Elliott says Cole Kmet or Chig Okonkwo. What's up, Coop?
Oof, man, that's a tough one. I think I personally, the thing is, I mentioned what the Saints do well, and it's that even though Chig is my boy, what they do well is actually stop the tight end. They're one of the best against the tight end. Demario Davis and the Honey Badger kind of problematic there. So I think I'm actually going to go Kmet over Okonkwo. I might even have to check my own rankings because I think I have Okonkwo ahead, but I don't know, man. I really, the matchup scares me. What do you guys think? I could be sold on this one, but what do you guys think?
I think this is a razor thin margin.
It's close.
It might be a different of like a decimal point. I think if we're looking at the over-under of the games, they're also very similar. So I'm just going to go with the proven guy and Kmet. But like I said, it's literally going to be decimal point differences.
I mean, the Packers still have Devondre Campbell too, so it's not like it's an easy day for Kmet either.
Right.
Yeah, well, then that's the thing is I'm a little worried about, with Kmet, he's also, if they want to really turn Justin Fields into more of a passer and they really want him, he's going to focus on DJ Moore, obviously. He's got Darnell Mooney. He's got Chase Claypool. And then he's got Kmet. I kind of worry about, how much yardage Kmet's going to actually rack up. Could Kmet end up with one of those like 22 yards and a touchdown? Yeah, I definitely could see that happening there. But I might lean Chig only because he is the third target in that offense.
Right. Yep. And at the end of the day, with a question like this one, it's this close. You got to ask yourself, what's more fun? And the answer is starting Chig Okonkwo. So I have it ranked. It's always more fun. I have it ranked that way. So Chig it is. Let's do it.
All right. Blurpy hanging out here in the room, looking to trade for Darren Waller and Nick Chubb. We talked about this one here.
Those are the boys. Waller and Chubb.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would definitely give up Connor, Higbee, and Judy for Chubb and Waller, 100%.
Immediately.
He says he could swap Connor with ETN or swap Judy with Christian Watson. If he says no, he does like Judy though.
No, I'd keep it, man, because I mean, Judy and Watson aren't too far off if they're both healthy, but I mean, Judy, hamstring, that's scary stuff. If you could just save yourself from dealing with the hamstring injury, lingering injury all year, I think I would definitely try and keep it the way it is.
Isn't Christian Watson dealing with a hamstring injury right now? Sat out of practice.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They both, but we're talking about, we haven't heard the degree of the Watson one, but we know the Judy one's bad, right? Like we know for sure the Judy one's bad, where we don't know the degree on the Watson one. I don't know. Would you guys rather have Judy or Watson? I think we all agree ETN over Connor, right?
I don't know that we could say, I don't think the dogs agree. I don't know if you can say that Judy's hamstring injury is bad, because there is a chance that he is available for week 1. I mean, they came out today and said it. He's been rehabbing it. I know that they said initially that it was moderate, but there still is a chance that he can play. Possibly, in my opinion, I think that they're just saying that because they don't have any depth anywhere else. But Christian Watson, for me, is such a boomer bust guy that I would try to offer him. But then again, it goes back to who you're trading with, who they like, what their preferences are. What do you think gets a deal actually done?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're fine with using Judy or Watson in that. And I think you're fine using either Connor or ETN. I know that a lot of people are going to rate ETN higher, but we talked about this on the previous show. Tank Bigsby is going to get the work between the tackles down near the goal line. We're going to see that. ETN had 5 touchdowns last year. One of them came inside the green zone. Only one. All right. And we've seen Doug Peterson do this kind of thing before with rotating in, a more between the tackles type guy in order just to get those 7 points. So I think you're fine either way, Blurpy. Again, the key here is getting Nick Chubb and Darren Waller. That would be a baller move. I would love that move for you.
I think at the end of the day, our answer is do whatever it takes to make that happen. If it has to be ETN and Watson instead, then do it. Do whatever it takes.
Be it. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Rod Elliott says Cooks, Dotson, Sky Moore, or Romeo Dubs need 2.
What's the latest on Romeo? Yeah.
He was back at practice today.
Was he?
He was. I added that just before the show.
Romeo, wherefore art thou?
For any injury questions,
field,
we should just start with Britt, because she does the injury.
She's in tune here. All right,
she does the injury article. Yeah, I was just gonna say, where are we at? Okay, so but even then, I have Sky Moore and Dotson ahead of Dubs, so he's out for me. Just with those two in general. So the question is Cooks, Dotson, Sky Moore, and that's Brandon Cooks, correct?
Uh-huh.
I think we got to go. What you got in your mouth, dude? I think we got to go.
In case you guys didn't get the memo, today is apparently the prop day on the Alarm Fantasy Football Show between Coop's outfit, Bender's football, and my play sleeve. So
I thought this was America.
We're taking things pretty seriously around here. So I don't know, man. The Dotson one with no Terry McLaurin feels good. I mean, I like all 3 of the top options. Sky Moore, we've been hearing good things about him. So is this half PPR or full PPR? I think is what I would ask. If it's half PPR, it's Cooks and Dotson for sure. If it's full PPR, maybe Sky Moore. How do you guys feel about it?
I'm a little bit out on Sky Moore this week because Kadarius Toney might play. I know that The thing is, I know that there are going to be vacated targets if Kelsey doesn't play, but Moore and Tony are the same type of receiver. They're both like slot guys. So how are they going to divvy that up? Who's going to go outside? And that's something that we haven't really seen. Whereas with Brandon Cooks, we already know who he is. Dubs is obviously going to have a role in pretty much in the slot and or outside with Watson and just lack of other receiving options there. And I kind of lean towards that rather than the unknown that is Kansas City's wide receiver room. We saw it last season. There is Travis Kelce, and then there's everybody else. So I'm hesitant in starting Sky Moore just because we don't really know how that target share and snap share is going to be divided.
I'm in agreement with Britt on that factor. Absolutely, 100%. That's why I'm on Cooks and Dotson. I'm not ready to trust Dobbs. I know he's back at practice today, but I mean, one sprint downfield and all of a sudden he's like pulls up a little lame and you're like, balls, that sucks. So right. Cooks and Dotson for me there, Rod. Noodling catfish is such a Southern thing, although I was never raised in the South. I never lived in the South, but I can say that I have watched numerous Discovery Channel programs on noodling catfish. It's something I've never wanted to try, but absolutely amazed by the whole process.
It's just super fun.
To me, it seems a little bit high risk, low reward.
There you go. High risk, low reward.
No, you know what? Getting there to noodle the catfish is the high risk, low reward. Once you've already gotten there, and gotten your truck stuck like 500 times, once you're at the bank of the river, then the noodling's just a reward.
Interesting. You're not
once
worried
you
about
get your truck stuck.
You didn't bring
my
truck.
bourbon?
Oh, did I let my Southern out? My bad.
Every once in a while, Britt's like, "You didn't bring your truck with you, did you?"
It was a 99 F-150, and it was two-wheel drive, and I never got that thing stuck.
All right, we got an actual question here. We got Mike Williams.
Brandon... where are you at? You missed Dobbs versus Pickens here from Roddy Elliott. I'll tell you what, Coop. You just sit there and look pretty. I'll go through the questions here.
Okay.
Rod Elliott still wants to know Dobbs versus Pickens. Where are you going?
I'm going Pickens.
Yeah, George Pickens.
I think that was San Francisco's weakness in their secondary last season. I know that Deontay Johnson is going to get those kind of dink and dunk, short A-dot passes, but Pickens has really been a guy in the end zone that Kenny Pickett looks to. Dubs, again, that hamstring. Yeah, he's back at practice, but we don't really know how much he's going to be incorporated if it's just by necessity. So I'm going Pickens.
Yeah. In this range, a touchdown makes all the difference. And a contested catch guy like George Pickens, with all the amazing catches we've seen all offseason, he just, to me, has the better odds of finding pay dirt.
He was actually my pick in the weekly matchup previews that came out today on Fantasy Alarm for the Steelers. The fantasy play of the team.
That game in general intrigues me because there's like 17 fantasy relevant assets in the game, and the over-under is set at like 40 points. So It's just both good defenses, I think, is the big part of it. But like, there's so many must-start players in there in a game where the point's going to come from. So I'm intrigued to see what happens there. Kind of makes me want to dabble in the over on that 40-point line, but who knows?
Next question here, Chris UFC 97, Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks, Dalvin Cook, wide receiver spot and a flex spot to fill. Coop, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm nervous about Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. I don't know what it's going to look like. If it's split right down the middle, then I don't even know if that's going to be awesome going up against the Bills either. So I'm just going to start Mike Williams and Brandon Cooks.
Britt?
I'm definitely starting Dalvin Cook. Then it's torn between Brandon Cooks and Mike Williams. But I think with Kellen Moore going against the Dolphins without Jalen Ramsey, they do have a couple holes in their secondary. I think I'm leaning Mike Williams.
All right. So we're all in agreement on Mike Williams. And then it comes down to, do I side with Britt on Dalvin Cook or Coop on Brandon Cooks? I'm looking for something.
Some sort of sign.
Anybody see anything? Okay. There's my answer. Luca Cruz wants to say, hey there, any advice? 12-team PPR, 2 keepers, two keepers. Burrows, Stevenson, White, Jefferson, Chase, Hawkinson, Olave. And then in parentheses, he's got Carr, Montgomery, Sanders, Deontay Johnson, Okonkwo. So you're keeping only two players out of this? Why wouldn't it be just Jefferson and Chase?
Yeah.
That's
Done.
Unless it's in a league like I play in where it's based on the round that you drafted them in. And then it gets like progressively different. But straight up, it would be Jefferson and Chase.
Yeah. Now I wonder if maybe where he's putting the punctuation there, that the options are Burrow, Stevenson, White, Jefferson, Chase, Hawkinson, and then Olave and one of those last guys. So if that is the case, then I think the one I like is White, Jefferson. Ooh, or maybe Chase Hawkinson.
Yeah, I'd rather go Chase Hawkinson.
Chase
Jefferson.
Hawkinson. Chase Hawkinson's the one. If that is how it's set up there. But
Rashad White.
Clarify for us in the comments.
Yeah, clarify for us, Luca.
Just put a pin in it.
Rod Elliott says Cooks, Tony, or Dobbs. Just one.
Cooks, I think.
I'm still going Brandon Cooks.
I'll say Cooks on this one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
we
tough
know
to
that
pass,
he's the number 2.
and it's tough to pass up on anybody in Kansas City's offense. But again, like we talked about, it's just basically a committee at this point, and we don't really know what we're getting.
Bam. Yep.
Jack Senzen wants to say that he has Gibbs going tonight. That was the Laporta versus Pitts question. Yeah. So
just a big Lions fan, man. I'm not going to start worse players. Well, actually, I had Pitts anyway. Does that change your opinion, Britt? If he already has Goff and Gibbs going, it's the Pitts versus Laporta question.
When I look at things like that, I look at the over-under, and the over-under on this game is so high that I think that they could both be relevant. And so it doesn't really bother me in that situation. Now, if it was like the Washington-Arizona game and I had two people from Washington playing, I wouldn't necessarily want to play two people from the same team. But when the over-under is that high, I think that you can get away with it.
Yeah. And a good tool for you guys. I know most of you guys are Fantasy Alarm members. If you're not, you need to obviously get that set up. But there's a tool in there when you go to the fantasy football tools and then go down to the Vegas odds tab. It actually breaks down the implied point line. So for instance, with the Chiefs and the Lions tonight, the overall number is 54, right? But the Chiefs are favored. So what it does is it takes, mathematically figures out how many points the Vegas projects each team to score. So when you look at it that way, the Chiefs have the highest implied total at 28 points, and the Lions actually have the second highest at 25. To Britt's point, Washington, because with theirs being so low, their point total is set at like 22. So in general, these teams it's implied that they're going to score more points. So if you go to Fantasy Alarm, to the NFL tools, and then the Vegas odds page, it has all those implied lines. I love using that because it really tells you not only what games are going to be high scoring, but which teams in the game are going to actually be scoring the points, which is the most important part, right?
Before we get back to the Q&A, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy, and just let you guys know that right now, all right, Underdog's got a very special Pick'em contest offer. Underdog's giving you an exclusive offer for new customers. All right, you can claim your mystery Pick'em special plus up to $100 deposit match. All you need to do is sign up at fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use the promo code ALARM, make your deposit, then go download their app and head to the lobby to find out which player special you got. Now, this is what it is. They're higher or lower, their Pick'em contest. They give you the stat lines for the players, and then they say, you just say higher or lower. If you can, it's a minimum of 2, and you can go up to 5, and that'll end up, I think 5, maybe 12x's your money or something like that. If you get 3 out of 3, you 6x your money, 4 out of 4, you 10x your money, and then 5 out of 5, you 12x your money on that. So what they've got going on right now is they've got a featured one of Patrick Mahomes over half a yard. So that's your gimme. So you're going to pair up something with that. But if you're new to Underdog and you sign up for the first time, they're going to give you another player special that you're going to want to check out. And that'll give you 2 right off the bat. So you get the player special. You got that Pat Mahomes gimme one there. And I'll tell you what, why don't we 6X our money? Why don't we go 3 for 3? And you can choose one of the ones that maybe we give you, or you could choose all 3 of the ones that we give you. So let's just we'll go around here right now. Let's give a quick higher or lower for Underdog Fantasy. I will start with tonight's game. Sam Laporta, higher than 29.5 receiving yards. I'm loving that one there. I've already got it in there with Pat Mahomes. I'm not a first-time signer-upper, so I've got it with my Pat Mahomes one, and I'm just going to 3X my money with the 2 for 2 and be happy about that. Sam Laporta, higher than 29.5 receiving yards. Britt, what do you got for us?
So I'm going to actually go with Calvin Ridley, 62.5 passing yards or receiving yards. I'm going to go higher. Thank you, Burns. Indianapolis's secondary.
Don't thank him for that.
Freaking dismal.
How dare you?
But their secondary is dismal. I mean, they've got undrafted free agents and then a practice squad member as their top 2 cornerbacks. Calvin Ridley, I don't care that he hasn't played in 2 seasons. What we've seen out of camp, what we saw in that preseason game, the Jaguars are going to absolutely torch the Colts, and Calvin Ridley is going to be a huge part of that. So higher all the way, baby.
I love that. Higher than 62.5 receiving yards for Calvin Ridley. I've got higher than 29.5 receiving yards for Sam Laporta. Coop, where are you going?
Look, so we all know that the lowers, if you really think about it rationally, they're better bets because if somebody gets hurt, you get 2 outs on that. But the higher are more fun. So you can load up a bunch of lowers. It's not that hard to find some that you can and throw in there. But Tyreek Hill, they're setting him at 6.5 receptions, and Jalen Waddle's been banged up. This team didn't go out and get a tight end like we thought they would. They still have Durham Smythe. They use a fullback, Alec Ingold, on a ton of the snaps, and they don't really have a wide receiver 3 at all. So Tyreek Hill, I think, especially in a week where Waddle hasn't really played a ton, I'm taking the higher on 6.5 receptions. I think Tyreek Hill is one of the best starts this week across the board, and this could be one of the games where this guy has 8, 9, 10 receptions because it's going to be a shootout with the Chargers. So give me the higher Tyreek Hill 6.5. Thank you.
All right. So get yourself over to fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use that promo code ALARM. You get a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. You'll also get a little player special, a mystery player special for their pick'em contest there as well. So be sure to get in on over there. Again, fantasyalarm.com/underdog, promo code ALARM. Let's get back to the Q&A here in the chat. Double A wants to know, Ezekiel Elliott, James Cook, or Isaiah Pacheco?
Ooh, wow.
There you go. Britt. Oh, yeah. Everybody's balking at that, huh? Everybody's balking at that.
I'm looking at Britt because Britt and I are higher than most of the industry on Zeke, but I think Britt actually might be higher than me on Zeke. So that's why I'm looking at Britt. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking Zeke because the Eagles defense, as good as it was last season, their one downfall was their run defense. And if Zeke is going to be used as that kind of red zone touchdown vulture, I think that his upside might be higher than either of these two. And so I think that I'm going Zeke, and I'm trying to look at this impartially and not import my fandom, and also thinking about the Zeke jersey that's hanging in my closet that I can no longer wear. But I think that it might be Zeke.
Yeah, folks in the chat, definitely let us know if your leagues are half PPR or full PPR or standard, because I think with this question that does have an effect. If it's full PPR, I might go James Cook, but otherwise I'm not going there just because Josh Allen and Damian Harris. And then guys like Zeke and Pacheco they're much better in standard than they are in full PPR. But I don't know. I think I'm going to go Zeke as well. Howard, talk some sense into us.
I don't know if I can talk some sense into you. My Jets defense against James Cook. Come on. I don't know if I can go with that. I'm a big fan of Isaiah Pacheco, but, I do kind of worry. If this game turns into a little bit of a track meet and it does come near that 53 over under that it's sitting on, I worry that we see a little bit more Jerick McKinnon here in week 1 than we do Isaiah Pacheco. So if we know that the Patriots want to use Zeke inside near the goal line, Granted, it's the Philadelphia Eagles and it's a tough matchup, but we've seen Zeke run against the Eagles before, so might as well do it again.
And
I'll clean sweep it with you.
He specified that it's half PPR, so that takes James Cook off the table completely for me. So Zeke, get him in there. Let's go.
Zeke, get him in there.
God bless America.
All right, Chris, UFC wants to know Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Schultz, or Greg Dulcich is on the wire this week.
So from on the wire,
I'm a Dalton Schultz guy. I'll say it.
I'll tell you though, Dalton Kincaid for me, whether whoever I'm starting, like I have Schultz slightly ahead of Kincaid, but if I have to let one go to the wire and I can't roster them, I can't roster two of them, then the one guy I want to hold on to is Dalton Kincaid. I just want to see what it looks like because Dalton Schultz is always just going to be Dalton Schultz. Whereas a guy like Dalton Kincaid, what if he truly is the slot wide receiver for the Bills? And as we saw with Cole Beasley playing only 65, 68% of the snaps in that slot role with Josh Allen, he had back-to-back 100-plus target seasons at age 32, right? So for me, if I can only hold one player and I have to start that player, it's going to be Dalton Kincaid. But, Dalton Schultz may be a safer play this week, but that's where I'm at with it.
No, I think he's asking that all three of these are on the wire and who he should pick up.
Dalton Kincaid.
I mean, I'm with you there. I still think that it's Kincaid, but
if I'm stashing a guy, it's Kincaid.
But going against the Jets is still going to be very hard. So it depends on if you are stashing or if you're looking for that week one payoff and then you're going to drop this guy. In that case, for me, it would be Dulcich because I really don't think that Judy's going to play. And if he does play, I think that he's going to be a decoy.
All right. I'm interpreting this Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Schultz, or Dulcich is on the wire. Tells me that he's got Kincaid and Schultz and his thing and could pick up Dulcich. And if that's the case, I'm still starting Dalton Schultz this week, and I'll keep Dalton Kincaid on the bench and see what he does.
If that's the case, I'm 100% with Howard.
Yep. Look at English. It's such a fun language.
Crazy. It's great.
Danny E wants to know if he should trade Jordan Addison for Dallas Goedert. He's already got David Njoku.
I mean, I've almost for this week, I have Njoku ahead of Goddard because Goddard's going up against with tight ends. You have to look at in certain situations the matchups. Some teams just have tight end killers, and Kyle Duggar for the Patriots is a problem for tight ends. So I straight up have Njoku this week over Goddard, and maybe for the entire season. I don't really love Goddard, so I'm just sticking with Njoku. Ride it out.
No, and I think Addison's ceiling is so high. Like we debated all offseason whether or not he's going to be second or third in targets. With Kevin O'Connell's offense, I don't really think it matters that much. They're all going to get so many passes. And Goddard, they're a very run-heavy team. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown are going to absorb the bulk of those targets. I love Addison. I would 100% hold on to them.
All right. Let's see. Oh, another prop from Tommy getting the game. Seems like a lock to him. Jahmyr Gibbs over 38.5 rushing yards. What do you think?
I mean, I think over the course of this week, we've kind of jumped on a lot of the hires for this guy. No.
Well, so here's my thing with Gibbs. Kansas City was very good against the run. In fact, they were one of the best against the run last season. Now it changes with Chris Jones being out possibly, but I still think that Montgomery is going to be mixed in enough. I don't really like touching his rushing yards prop. If I were doing anything, it would be the rushing plus receiving, because as good as Kansas City was against the actual rushing, they were at the bottom, literally dead last when it came to running backs and receptions. So if you're going to do that, take higher on the double prop.
That's where I'm at. I agree with that one completely. Coop, you're not allowed to answer this question here. Britt, greater American treasure, NFL kickoff tonight or Coop in that jacket right now?
I mean, Coop is a very close second, but it's NFL kickoff. We're world champions for a reason.
Correct the mundo.
DeAndre Swift season is back. What's up, DeAndre Swift season? He got offered Diggs and Trevor Lawrence from Mahomes and Keenan Allen, but he did decline that. So wants to know your thoughts on it.
I think I might have taken Mahomes and Keenan Allen there. That is a tough one though, because we were drafting Diggs so much higher than Keenan Allen, but is he that much better? Keenan Allen last year over the second half of the season when he came back was the wide receiver 2 with PPR behind only Justin Jefferson. But Trevor Lawrence is also pretty good too. So that is a pretty fair trade.
Yeah, I think I probably would have taken the trade, but I mean it's fairly lateral. So you're not missing out on that much. If you like your team the way that you drafted it, then stand pat.
Sure.
Agreed on that. How about this? Start 2. Calvin Ridley, Alexander Madison, DJ Moore.
Who
2
was
of
the
those
first?
3. Who's sitting?
I'm definitely starting Ridley, man. And that is literally because John Impemba has convinced me on he moved the needle on Ridley for me so far with very rational arguments, man. So Ridley for me has to be in there. The question is Madison or Moore. So I don't know, Brett, do you lean one way or another on those guys?
I think I'm going Moore just because I'm so out on Madison, and Tampa Bay's defensive line is pretty good. You know, they might be without Kalijah Kancey, the rookie, but I still think that defensive line is pretty well intact from last season, where they were one of the best against the run. And we still don't know if Madison is going to be splitting reps with Ty Chandler. So I think I would go Moore just for the upside there. It's going to be a tough matchup against the Packers and Alexander, but I think he has more potential. It would help if I knew if it was PPR. I'm assuming it's PPR because I feel like everything's PPR based. Right. So that's what breaks the tie there for me.
I agree right there. Ridley and DJ Moore for me as well. Rod Elliott wants to know Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, or scary Terry McLaurin for PPR flex.
That is a scary question, especially with McLaurin. McLaurin's just like baiting us like I do with those catfish. Like he's practicing, but like he's limited. Is he actually going to play? Kind of the same thing with Javonte and Breece Hall also, because we know that Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook are going to split. And I think that they hold back Javonte.
Brett, I'll say this. When we think about these 3 guys, there's only one of these guys that I saw catch a pass in this preseason. And I saw him catch 5 of them. Terry McLaurin's and Breece Hall. I haven't seen these guys. I don't know what's going on with them.
It just depends on, if you start McLaurin or, it's the early game. So it kind of depends on when your lineups lock, things like that. Because if he gets ruled out super late, then that could affect your substitutions. And that's the thing that I'm thinking about. But I mean, obviously McLaurin, if he's healthy, but turf toe is not a mild injury. Turf toe can, and especially with McLaurin being the vertical route runner that he is, and the fact that Washington is supposed to completely steamroll the Cardinals, I don't know how much work he gets because I think they're going to run the ball.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm going Javonte here is like with McLaurin, if they could just, Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson could total 200 yards and then they just put everybody on the bus and head home. Like, I don't know if you need to really have turf toe Terry out there run around like crazy. So Javonte Williams, for me, even if it's split, at least we know he's going to play and he's going to get a decent amount,
Yeah, that's a tough one, Rod. Good question.
Half point PPR, James Cook, Pacheco, or Elliott. I think we answered that one already. Did we not?
Yep.
We all say Elliott and the half point PPR versus Cook and Pacheco. So yes, we answered that one. Who hasn't noodled a catfish? I haven't done it, but I've seen it on TV.
What kind of catfish they got in Canada, Toronto, Dave?
Let's see. More. Washington, are they the best survivor option this week, guys?
So we've touched on this, and here's a question I want to turn this into: is that Washington? Like, I think everybody, I feel like, is going to be starting Washington, and Washington is the high kind of cutesy play, and Baltimore as the like chalk play. But what if both those teams lose? What's the best third option? You guys think? Do you guys even have another option? You're just going with those guys. I personally am starting Baltimore in the one. I'm doing 2, and I'm using Baltimore both.
Well, here you go. I've got a confidence pool article up on fantasyalarm.com where I rank from 16 down to 1, the games that I am most confident in. The first two are the Ravens and the Commanders. Number 3 for me, Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Really, the Rams. That's a great pick, actually.
All right. Minus 230 on the money line.
I was going to say Jaguars, but
yeah, that's a good one.
Seahawks
That's number 4 for me.
Number 4. Okay, good. See, we're splitting hairs at this point.
Well, let me see if I guess. Let me see if I can guess the next one. Is it the Vikings over the Buccaneers?
It is. Are you looking at the article right now?
No, I'm not.
All right, keep going. Who's next?
Go, Britt, you go next.
Oh my gosh. Crap. My brain's not working, y'all. Don't make me pick.
Eagles over Patriots next?
No.
Ooh.
I got the Chiefs over the Lions tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
That makes sense.
I did take a plus 4.5 line, and I'm very upset that I didn't get it when it was plus 6.5.
I also took Lions plus 5.5 actually. I'd take the Lions at plus 4.5, 100%. I think the Lions do cover the spread, but I think the Chiefs ultimately win this game.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let me God damn. Look at me scrolling all the way down here. Look at that. You guys in the chat.
So
I love you all.
We got a hotter than fish grease in the chat too. That's a nice little throwback there.
All right. Well, here we go. We got 13 minutes left to go here. So I guess we'll kind of go a little quickly here, a little rapid fire. Javonte Williams, Gabe Davis, or Damian Harris PPR flex?
Oof.
I like Gabe Davis. I was out on him last year. I think there might be a little bit of an overcorrection this year. So I think I like Gabe Davis, especially because Diggs is going to get Sauce Gardner. So, ball's got to go somewhere.
I still want no part of that passing game against the Jets defense. That Jets defense is probably going to be historically good this season. So I'm not having any part of either side of that. I'm going Javonte here.
Ooh, so now you're in on Javonte.
I'm in on Javonte for this one as well. There's no way. DJ Reed is going to slap Gabe Davis around.
Start Gabe Davis.
No.
Who should I start at my flex? Mako J says Dobbins or Drake London, full point PPR.
Ooh, Dobbins. Dobbins is my play.
Matchup, yeah. You get the Texans. You start Dobbins there. Yeah.
Yep.
Dobbins.
And London's going to get JC Horn, who's supposedly healthy.
Full point PPR have to start 2, Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, or Alexander Madison.
Well, this is Tommy, so we know you're starting Josh Jacobs anyway, dude.
But don't do it.
He's going to do it anyway, though. You know he will.
He's going to do it, but I'm cautioning against it. I would go Dobbins and Madison here.
Yeah, I think I would start Jacobs and Dobbins, but Jacobs could run into some trouble. What do you think, Howard?
I'm gonna go Jacobs and Dobbins as well. I am. I'm not big. I'm just not bullish on Madison. I don't like the blocking scheme for him. Kevin O'Connell loves to throw the ball a bunch, so I'm a little lukewarm there on Madison. So I'll go there.
Listen, I'm just going to tell you guys that the Broncos and Drew Sanders are going to cause some problems in the run game. I'm just staking that here.
Okay. Noted. Let's write that. Can I get that GIF of Ryan from The Office just taking a little note right there? Beautiful. Damian Pierce, J.K. Dobbins, Antonio Gibson. Which 2 running backs should I play? PPR.
Dobbins and Gibson for me.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think so too. In full PPR, especially if it was half PPR, maybe I could make an argument for Pierce, but in full PPR, I like Gibson.
Who should I start in the flex? Drake London, J.K. Dobbins, or Jaden Reed, full point PPR?
I'm not going there with Jaden Reed. Not rookie, first game, Jordan Love. That's too much for me. I love having Jaden Reed on my bench. That's nice. But London and Dobbins.
No, it's only one.
It's just one.
Oh, just one? Then I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start. Oh, man.
We just said Dobbins over London.
I think I'm going to start
5
Dobbins.
minutes ago.
Dobbins for sure. I know. Just looking at it again, I think I like Dobbins.
All right. Let's see. What do we got? Thank you all for your help. We appreciate you, Rod Elliott. Scamper says beer, batter, fish, grilled shrimp, or burgers for the game tonight. Burgers for me.
Burgers, agreed.
Can I have all 3?
No.
That was an option. I think it'd be an easy one. What do you got, Britt?
You only get one, Britt.
I mean, we've talked about catfish. We're going fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the beer batter that she wants there. It doesn't matter if it's a fish or not. If we said beer battered shrimp versus beer battered fish, what would you say?
I'd still go shrimp, I think.
Beer battered burgers.
But also it
Ooh.
depends on what kind of
Right,
fish.
doctor.
Like, is it cod? Is it like crappy tilapia? That makes a difference.
Yeah.
Just take your beer and get out of here, okay?
Oh, look at Tommy with the beer battered burgers. Same brain, brother.
What's that?
I said Tommy said beer battered burgers. I was like, same brain, brother.
O-Face says he's curious about the chat title. What's your biggest draft buyer's remorse so far? His is Hollywood Brown. Do you guys have a draft buyer's remorse yet?
Yeah, I drafted a lot early on. I drafted a lot of Chigakonkwo. I really love his profile. I love him long term for Dynasty. But then they went out and signed DeAndre Hopkins, and that really poured cold water on that situation for me. So that was the biggest one. Luckily, I've been able to pivot because it happened fairly early. But I did so many drafts during the offseason, and that really rug pulled me a little bit. So that the Chigakonkwo, where I was taking him, don't like that.
Yeah, this is going to sound counterintuitive. But I think drafting Treylon Burks before DeAndre Hopkins got signed, the ADP got a little spicy. And now that Hopkins is there, I'm like, that kind of sucks.
We're getting them both players. If you want them now, you can just get them so much cheaper. That's the hard part.
Right.
For, like Burks too. What do you think, Howard?
For me, early on, it was a lot of shares in best ball of Rashad White. His ADP was kind of low, and I was like, all right, I like this. Dave Canales, run first offense there. And then all of a sudden, he had like 3 out of 5 on the offensive line healthy, and now there's nobody on the offensive line who's healthy. So now I'm like, I'm a little bummed about those Rashad White shares. It didn't cost me too much, but I'm not really that interested in him right now moving forward. Hal wants to know in his FFPC, Cole Turner or Travis Kelce.
I mean,
I think if Kelsey's on the field, I'm going to play him no matter what.
In any capacity.
Yeah.
But Cole Turner, I'll give you a little quick glimpse behind the paywall, usually for Fantasy Alarm members, but I do like Cole Turner at DFS. On some of the sites, he is the bare minimum price. So check out that DFS article. It's up now.
All right. PPR, pick one, please. Alan Lazard, Zay Jones, or Curtis Samuel?
I think I'm actually going to go Zay Jones here. No explanation. Just
if McLaurin is out, I'll start Curtis Samuel. But I like Zay Jones. I like Zay Jones as well. But I would go Samuel if McLaurin's out.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I mean Samuel if McLaurin is out is definitely interesting. I'm just not ready to commit to Alan Lazard yet because I do think that Aaron Rodgers is locked on to Garrett Wilson right now. He's locked onto him. Half point PPR, Ayuk or Kirk?
Ayuk.
Yeah, and the reason I kind of like Zay Jones is that quietly during this offseason, Zay Jones and Ridley have been the 2 outside wide receivers with Kirk kind of playing the slot. That worries me a little bit. I'm not sure he's going to be a 100% snap share guy. So give me Ayuk.
All right. I am Ayuk as well. Christian Watson, Christian Kirk, David Montgomery, or Jamal Williams. Standard scoring here. Who do you prefer?
Well, good job picking David Montgomery and Jamal Williams in a standard scoring league. First and foremost, those are the best. That's the best format for those players. And I actually like David Montgomery. Christian Watson you have to look at the hamstring. If he were fully healthy, I would pick Christian Watson. But with him, if he's any sort of banged up, I kind of do like David Montgomery tonight, quietly.
Yeah, Montgomery, no Chris Jones. Slam.
Yeah. No Chris Jones, no Charles Omenihu either on the defensive end. Yep. So yeah, I think we're all on a clean sweep of Montgomery here for you, Ray. DeAndre Swift season wants to know where he can get Britt's weekly rankings. Come on, Britt, do more work. What's wrong with you? You're so lazy.
I'll tell you what, I do the weekly rankings at Fantasy Alarm, but it really is a conglomerate of all our opinions. Like their opinion, like when I do these rankings, I'm thinking about what's best for our listeners and our subscribers, and I'm not putting my own like things that I'm doing my own league that are just wild and a little bit crazy. I'm not factoring that in. I'm taking Howard, Britt, John and Pemba, Colby Conway, Kevin Tompkins, and kind of putting it all together. So if you look at those rankings, it's a good representation of how we feel as a company.
It's a little bit of each of us in
Right.
there.
It's a little bit
It's
of
an
got
amalgamation.
a bit of a stew going,
Amalgamation.
you know? All right, let's
All
rapid
right, we
fire
got
these.
3 minutes to go here. So let's here we go. Let's see. What's up with Albert O? Is it the new Ertz Goddard combo with Albert O and Goddard? No, not
No,
for me.
I would bank on Jack Stoll more than I would bank on Alberto.
Don't worry. Don't even worry about any of those guys.
Would you trade Justin Jefferson for Christian McCaffrey?
No.
Stick with how you drafted it.
What's that?
If you drafted Justin Jefferson over McCaffrey, don't turn around and make that
Yeah,
trade.
don't turn around and go back on that. Absolutely. Hollywood Brown or Tyler Algier? PPR.
I like Hollywood. I like Hollywood, man. I think he can get 15 targets and catch like 7 of them.
Not me. Not with Emmanuel Forbes covering him. That kid is a ball hawk.
He is.
He might see 20 freaking targets, and not a single one of them is going to get to him.
I'm going for upside. I'm just not going to start a backup running back over Hollywood.
Yeah, I have a hard time starting the backup running back over Hollywood also, but I mean the coverage is a situation, and yeah. All right. Well, we're running out of time here right now. If we didn't get to your question in chat, Coop, where should they be at 7:00 tonight?
You can be right here on this station. Me and Johnny and Pemba are going to be smashing questions. If you for some reason you aren't available for that, just go over to the Discord and drop it in there. But yeah, me and Pemba 7 to 8, we're going to be crushing them. And make sure you have the Better Cast app downloaded. Get that ready to rock and roll. We're going to be talking about it on the show, but that's going on tonight, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be prizes, going to be a lot of trivia, fun stuff, right, Howard?
Of course. So bettercast.app. Go get that and download it for free. But that's it. We got to thank you all for your questions. If we didn't get to you again, hit us up on Twitter, Fantasy Alarm Discord, Coop and Pemba on later tonight right here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. Bookmark it, subscribe, like, all of those things. Big thank you to Brian Burns, our producer. For Britt Flinn, Andrew Cooper, I'm Howard Benner. This has been Alarm Fantasy Football. Enjoy week 1. We'll catch you next time.
I love and respect Brian Burns, and he's got to do what he's got to do.